Hey y'all, Jamie here. Proud 55-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, I was sick for a few days. Sorry about that, y'all. I've had to take time off here and there, and I come on and I film when I can, and when my blood pressure is skyrocketing through the roof, I have to stay calm and still and try to be quiet and yeah, it's a lot of meditative stuff. I actually bought an aquarium to try to keep my blood pressure down. Yeah, I heard that keeping fish was a good hobby for keeping your blood pressure under control. So yeah, I bought a damn aquarium. I loaded it with plants, getting it cycled to start with fish next month. Like I'm doing what I can, in other words. But where I last left off, I was saying goodbye to the love of my life, Bob Jackson, and me and his wife, Lisa Jackson, had gone to smoke a joint. And, she told me she didn't want to fight with me anymore. And I told her that my reason for hating her wasn't on this earth anymore. And I wasn't going to spend the rest of my life hating her. And to be honest, y'all, Lisa Jackson and I never became what I would call friends. We never became what I would call actual friends. We had a tentative truce. It was a truce. It was an agreement that we weren't going to fight anymore, but we weren't going to be besties either. And we did run in the same circles and we knew all of the same people. It was a very, very close little community. So yeah, I we never fought again though. Not fist fight anyway. We might have had a couple of little arguments after that, but honestly, the last I heard, Lisa was not doing well. She was very ill in the early 2000s, and I think the last that anyone's heard of her was like maybe 2010 nothing since like 2010, I don't think. So, the assumption in the community is that Lisa Jackson probably passed. Yeah. So, y'all, back in 1993, sorry, but back in 1993, I'm living at an apartment complex called Cypress Run. I'm back together with Mickey, and I am working at Papa Joe's Female Impersonators on Bourbon Street. I had a friend named Tara Lynn Fox. Tara Lynn Fox, she was a showgirl, and they were doing shows at Papa Joe's. They would have drag shows in between the trans strippers. So it was like a hips, lips, and fingertips review, and then it would be the strippers in between the shows, right? And Tara Lynn Fox was one of the stars of the shows. Tara Lynn lived on the West Bank where I lived, and so she would come and give me rides to work and stuff. We all when Mickey was around and he had the car downtown, then obviously I would ride with him. But Tara Lynn always gave me rides to work. So a little time passes by, and I would say probably around Mardi Gras. It was Mardi Gras, but I'm trying to remember if it was like, it wasn't Mardi Gras Day, but I believe it was like Lundi Gras, which is the Monday before Mardi Gras, the day before. And I was out drinking. Mickey and I were both out in the bars. I had been out whoring around. I had worked at Papa Joe's that night and I had gotten off work and I was out running up and down the street. I mean, there was a bar called the Corner Pocket where they had boy dancers. So, of course, I had gone up in there, even though I got to be real honest. Male strippers, for me, listen, some people love male strippers, okay? I was a stripper. So, strippers don't turn me on like that. Like, the whole Magic Mike thing, it's not that it can't be hot. I just think that most men they can't help but look kind of effeminate when they dance. And that's not a turn on for me. I'm hyper feminine. I like hyper masculine. So yeah, male strippers, especially y'all, if they would shake their ass in your face. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I could not. I could not in good faith sit there with my face staring in some boy's ass while I'm trying to have a cocktail. No, ma'am. So I would always turn my back to them. It would piss the boys off, but I didn't give a shit. So I get drunk at the Corner Pocket and I go back up the street on St. Louis Street. There were three bars. There was the Corner Pocket, the Double Play, which was Gregory's originally, but it was the Double Play at this time. And there was the Roundup, where I always talk about the Roundup. All three of them were on St. Louis Street, about a block apart from each one. So I go back to the double play. I'm drinking more there. And then it's time for us to work our way up the street to the Roundup. And when I get to the Roundup, I am drunk, like lit to the gills. Okay. And when I was drunk and young, honey, I was very, very full of myself. Okay. So I walk into the Roundup and I'm sitting at the bar. And I'm not really totally proud of this. I even debated about sharing this, but four gay guys came in the bar and they were all wearing wedding dresses and they had full beards. Okay. And in those days, that was just like, I don't know. I should have known it was all in good fun. It was Mardi Gras. It was all in good fun. But I had to open my big mouth and I said, "What the fuck is that in those wedding dresses?" Drunk. And one of the gay guys turns around and looks at me and he says, "You think you were born with those fucking titties on your chest? You weren't born with those titties on your chest. You're a man." Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's all it took with me, honey, in those days. That's all it took with me. I punched that motherfucker in the face. I dragged him by his hair, and we went rolling out the front doors of the Roundup. They had a double saloon doors. We went flying out of those doors onto St. Louis Street. Mickey joins in. I'm fighting all four of them. Just me and my ex-husband Mickey are fighting all four of these guys, and I have a knife in my hand. And I was very stabby in those days. I came around with the knife and tried to get the guy on top of me because he was on top of me on the street. And if y'all want to know what happens next, y'all know the routine, honey. Be here next time and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching and I love you for the comments. I'll talk to you later. Please repost this. It helps. Thanks.